Welcome to the fascinating world of the Washington quarter dollar, a familiar piece of currency that holds hidden depths for the discerning collector. Beyond its everyday appearance lies a numismatic landscape rich with conditioned rarities and exceptional varieties. This journey will explore the unique attributes that transform common change into coveted treasures, revealing the compelling stories and significant value that make this series a perennial favorite among enthusiasts. First coin. The 1776 1976 bicentennial quarter from the Denver Mint stands as a cornerstone of modern American numismatics, capturing a unique moment of national celebration. While millions of these coins were produced for circulation, the ultra-rare, high-grade examples represent the pinnacle of the series and are fiercely sought after by collectors today. The general clad versions are common, but the specific silver compositions and flawless specimens command extraordinary attention and price tags. This intense demand is driven by a combination of profound historical significance and exceptional scarcity in top condition, making it a centerpiece for advanced collections focused on 20th century U.S. coinage. Issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the United States declaring independence, the bicentennial quarter was part of a special three-coin set that included the half-dollar and dollar. The production spanned 1975 and 1976, with all coins bearing the dual date 1776-1976, making it one of the most widely distributed commemorative issues in history. The Denver Mint contributed a massive number of these coins to circulation. However, beyond the standard copper-nickel-clad pieces struck for general use, the U.S. Mint also produced limited quantities of 40% silver versions exclusively for collectors. These silver issues, bearing the D mint mark, were sold in special mint sets and proof sets, creating a distinct and more valuable branch of the bicentennial series that was never intended for commercial transactions. The design of the bicentennial quarter represents a dramatic departure from the traditional Washington portrait used for decades. The obverse features a unique rendition of George Washington by John Flanagan, but it is the reverse that captivates collectors. Designed by Jack L.R., it depicts a colonial drummer with a victory torch encircled by 13 stars. This powerful symbolism of the American Revolution is rendered with intricate detail, especially on the 40% silver specimens. On these premium issues, the strike is typically much sharper, and the fields possess a deeper, more pronounced luster. The fine lines of the drummer's uniform, the feathers on the headdress, and the texture of the torch flame are where the superior quality of these special mintings becomes visually apparent, separating them from their common clad counterparts. The primary factor contributing to the rarity and value of the Denver minted bicentennial quarter is not its overall mintage, but its survival in pristine gem state condition. While hundreds of millions were struck, the vast majority entered circulation, becoming worn, scratched, and dull. The 40% silver S mint-proof coins are known for their quality, but the business strike 40% silver coins from Denver, graded in MS67 condition or higher, represent the true pinnacle of rarity. Coins at this level exhibit full, original mint luster, absolutely no contact marks visible to the naked eye, and a strike that is perfectly sharp. The population reports from major grading services show that only a handful of examples have ever achieved the MS68 grade, placing them in an elite tier of scarcity that fuels intense competition among top-tier collectors. The market value for a standard circulated bicentennial D quarter is face value, but for the elite, ultra-rare examples, the figures are staggering. A Denver minted 40% silver quarter graded in MS67 condition can command a price of approximately $2,500 to $3,500, as it represents one of the finest known examples of a business strike from that mint. However, the absolute peak of the market is reserved for the non-silver, copper-nickel-clad examples that have achieved the coveted MS68 grade. Due to the extreme difficulty of finding a clad coin that survived the minting and bagging process without any imperfections, these pieces are phenomenally rare. At major auctions, such top population coins have realized prices in the range of $4,000 to $5,800, a monumental value for a modern quarter. For collectors aspiring to own one of these premium examples, certification by either the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Company (NGC) is absolutely non-negotiable. Raw coins, even those that appear flawless, are not trusted in the high-stakes market for this conditionally rare issue. When evaluating a certified coin, it is crucial to review the population data to understand its standing relative to others. Acquiring such a piece typically requires vigilance at major national coin auctions or establishing relationships with specialized dealers in modern U.S. coins. Due to the prevalence of counterfeits and altered coins, purchasing from reputable sources within the numismatic community is the only safe strategy. In conclusion, the 1776-1976 Denver Bicentennial Quarter transcends its common origins in its highest grades, embodying a perfect storm of historical commemoration and numismatic excellence. It is a coin that tells the story of America's 200th birthday, but also tells a secondary story of survival and quality. For the sophisticated collector, it offers a tangible link to a national celebration and represents a formidable challenge to acquire in gem condition. Its powerful design and elite status ensure its place as a highly desirable and potentially appreciating asset, a modern classic that continues to captivate and inspire the numismatic world. Next up, the 1972 D. Washington Quarter holds a particularly enigmatic and compelling position. While not a commemorative issue, its significance to numismatics stems from a profound and puzzling rarity in a specific, high-grade condition that was entirely unforeseen for a coin with a mintage exceeding 200 million pieces. For decades, this issue was overlooked, considered merely another common date from the era. However, advanced research and population data from grading services have revealed a startling truth. Gem quality, mint state examples from the Denver Mint in 1972 are one of the great condition rarities of the 20th century. This revelation has transformed it from a filler coin into a prized target for specialists of the Washington Quarter series and condition rarity enthusiasts, creating a vibrant and competitive market for the few superlative examples known to exist. The historical context of the 1972 D Quarter is rooted in a period of transition and economic uncertainty for the United States. The country was deeply engaged in the Vietnam War, and the early 1970s saw the end of the Bretton Woods system, effectively severing the U.S. dollar's last ties to the gold standard. This was also the final year before the introduction of the copper-nickel clad composition that is still used today. The 1972 coins were among the last struck on planchets with a substantial silver content from earlier years, though they themselves contain no precious metal. The Denver Mint was operating at high capacity to produce currency for a growing economy, but a combination of factors, including aggressive die polishing and the use of new, softer planchet stock, resulted in coins that were often weakly struck and susceptible to bag marks, making high-grade survival exceptionally rare. What truly sets the premium 1972 D Quarter apart is not a unique design, but the exceptional preservation of its original mint-made features. The obverse bears the familiar John Flanagan portrait of George Washington, while the reverse features the heraldic eagle. On a typical circulated specimen, these designs appear unremarkable. However, on a coin graded MS-67 or higher, the details become breathtaking. The fine lines in Washington's hair, the full definition of the eagle's breast feathers, and the sharpness of the motto, "In God We Trust," exhibit a clarity seldom seen in this series. Most importantly, these coins retain their original cartwheel luster, a vibrant, swirling sheen that radiates from the center when rotated under a light. The combination of a razor-sharp strike and pristine, mark-free surfaces is what defines the elite examples and separates them from the millions of inferior contemporaries. The extreme rarity of the 1972 D quarter in gem condition is a phenomenon driven by preservation, not low mintage. Over 200 million pieces were struck, ensuring that finding a worn example is simple. The challenge lies in locating one that escaped the brutal minting and bagging processes unscathed. Coins were bulk shipped in large canvas bags, causing them to tumble against each other and acquire numerous contact abrasions. Furthermore, the manufacturing standards at the Denver Mint that year seemed to prioritize quantity over quality, leading to poorly adjusted presses that produced coins with weak strikes on the high points. As a result, while thousands of coins survive in lower mint state grades, the number that can be considered gem quality is minuscule. PCGS and NGC population reports show only a handful of coins have ever been certified at the MS67 level, with finer distinctions like MS67 Plus being virtually unobtainable, creating a classic condition census scenario. The market value for a standard 1972 D quarter is nominal, but for the coveted top-tier specimens, the figures are astonishing and reflect their status as a sleeper rarity. A coin graded MS66 might trade for a few $100s, but the leap to MS67 is exponential. Examples at this level have consistently sold at auction for between $3,500 and $4,500. The price is entirely dictated by the quality of the strike and the preservation of the surfaces, with premium prices paid for coins boasting exceptional eye appeal. The market for such coins is niche but deep, with dedicated Washington quarter specialists and registry set collectors driving the competition. This demand ensures that whenever a new high-grade example is discovered and certified, it immediately commands a five-figure price, solidifying its investment-grade status. For any collector pursuing this condition rarity, reliance on third-party certification from either PCGS or NGC is absolutely mandatory. It is nearly impossible for the human eye to accurately distinguish between a high-end MS66 and a low-end MS67, and the financial difference is thousands of dollars. Collectors should carefully study the population reports to understand the true scarcity and focus on coins that not only meet the technical grade, but also possess superior eye appeal, a sharp strike and brilliant, unblemished luster. Acquiring such a piece typically requires patience and active participation in major numismatic auctions or direct consultation with dealers who specialize in modern rarities. Building a relationship with the expert numismatic community is crucial, as many of the finest examples are sold through private treaty sales before ever reaching the public market. In summary, the 1972 D Washington quarter represents one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics, a coin so common in circulation, yet so elusive in perfection. Its journey from an overlooked date to a celebrated condition rarity underscores a fundamental truth in collecting. Survival quality is often a greater driver of value than mintage figures alone. It appeals to the detective in every collector, the one who seeks extraordinary quality hidden within the ordinary. For the advanced numismatist, securing a gem 1972 D quarter is akin to completing a crucial chapter in the story of 20th century U.S. coinage, offering a tangible and valuable asset that embodies the pinnacle of preservation against all odds. Next up, the 1980 D Washington quarter is a coin that, at first glance, appears to be a wholly unremarkable piece of modern American currency, common in pocket change and largely overlooked by the general public. However, within the specialized world of numismatics, it holds a prestigious and paradoxical status as a premier condition rarity. Its immense appeal to serious collectors stems not from a low mintage, but from the extraordinary difficulty of finding examples in sublime, gem state preservation. While hundreds of millions were struck, the number that survived the rigors of minting, bagging, and shipping without a single detracting mark is astonishingly minute. This stark disparity between its massive production and its elusive perfection creates a powerful demand among those who seek to assemble top-tier registry sets, transforming this humble quarter into a trophy asset. Historically, the 1980 D quarter was minted during a period of economic stagnation and high inflation in the United States. The Denver Mint was tasked with producing enormous quantities of coinage to fuel a struggling economy, with a focus on quantity and efficiency. This was not a commemorative issue tied to a specific anniversary or event. Rather, it was a workhorse coin for daily commerce. The very circumstances of its creation, high-volume production and automated bagging processes, are the root causes of its modern rarity. Coins were treated as bulk commodities, not collectibles, and were unceremoniously dumped into large bags where they would clash and abrade against one another. This industrial process ensured that the vast majority of coins emerging from the Denver Mint that year were immediately inflicted with the bag marks and hairlines that preclude a high grade. The unique feature of the most valuable 1980 D quarters is not a special design, but the flawless execution and preservation of the standard design. The coin features the standard John Flanagan obverse portrait of George Washington and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. What separates a common specimen from a numismatic gem is the presence of a full, blast-white mint luster and a sharply defined strike. On the highest grade examples, the luster is so vibrant it appears almost cartwheel-like, with a silky, satiny texture that radiates from the center. The details in Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the lettering must be razor-sharp, with no evidence of softness from dye wear or a weak strike. The surfaces, when viewed under magnification, must be virtually free of any contact marks, a testament to having escaped the destructive minting process entirely unscathed. The rarity of the 1980 D quarter in grades of MS-67 and above is a classic example of a modern condition census coin. With a mintage of over 518 million coins, it is one of the most common dates in the entire series by the numbers. Yet, this immense production figure is precisely what makes its condition rarity so dramatic. The sheer volume meant that very few individuals were looking to save them in pristine condition, and the harsh handling made survival nearly impossible. Professional grading service population reports tell the true story. While thousands of 1980 D quarters have been graded in MS-65 and MS-66, the number that achieved the MS-67 designation is a tiny fraction, and MS-68 specimens are virtually mythical. This extreme scarcity in the top tiers of preservation is what fuels an intense competition among specialists. The market value for a typical circulated 1980 D quarter is, of course, just 25 cents. However, for the elite examples that have been certified MS-67 by PCGS or NGC, the value leaps into the realm of four figures. Recent auction results and private treaty sales have consistently shown prices ranging from approximately $1,800 to $2,500 for these superlative coins. The price is highly sensitive to subtle quality differentiators. A coin at the high end of the MS-67 grade, perhaps designated as MS-67 Plus, can approach the $3,000 mark. The value is driven entirely by the coin's status within the registry set community, where collectors compete to own the finest graded examples of every date and mint mark, creating a potent and focused demand for a minuscule supply. For any collector aspiring to own one of these high-value condition rarities, third-party certification is an absolute and non-negotiable requirement. The difference between a high-end MS-66 and a low-end MS-67 can be a matter of a single, nearly invisible bag mark, and the financial difference is thousands of dollars. When evaluating a certified coin, one should look for exceptional eye appeal. A brilliant, untoned surface and a sharp strike are paramount. Acquiring such a piece necessitates vigilance at major national coin auctions, or establishing a relationship with a reputable dealer who specializes in modern rarities. These coins rarely appear in local coin shops and are typically traded among knowledgeable specialists who understand their significant niche value. In conclusion, the 1980 D Washington Quarter stands as a powerful lesson in modern numismatics, demonstrating that rarity is not always a function of what was made, but rather of what was saved. It is a coin that challenges the novice's assumption that age and low mintage are the only paths to value. For the sophisticated collector, it represents the ultimate pursuit of quality over quantity, a hunt for a needle of perfection in a haystack of mass production. Its investment potential is tied directly to its standing in the condition census, a position that is continually reinforced by population data. As a cornerstone of a high-grade Washington Quarter collection, this seemingly ordinary coin reveals itself to be an extraordinary prize, embodying the pinnacle of 20th century minting quality against all odds. Next up, the 1988 D Washington Quarter occupies a fascinating and counterintuitive niche. To the casual observer, it is an utterly common piece of late 20th century pocket change, but to the advanced collector, it represents one of the most formidable condition rarities of the entire series. Its appeal is not born from a commemorative design or a low mintage figure, but from an almost paradoxical combination of massive production and an extreme scarcity of pristine survivors. This creates a powerful demand among registry set collectors, those competing to own the finest graded examples of every date and mint mark, who are willing to pay substantial sums for a coin that, in any other condition, would be considered virtually worthless. The pursuit of this quarter is a hunt for perfection where it was least expected. The historical backdrop of the 1988 D Quarter is one of economic recovery and technological transition. Minted in the latter years of the Reagan administration, the U.S. economy was stabilizing, and the Denver Mint was operating with modern, high-speed presses capable of producing billions of coins. There was no fanfare or historical celebration tied to this specific issue. It was purely utilitarian, designed to meet the demands of commerce. The very nature of its production is key to its modern rarity. These coins were struck in the hundreds of millions and shipped in bulk bags, a process that subjected them to violent mechanical counting and abrasive contact with other coins. This industrial handling ensured that the vast majority were marked and dulled before they even reached a bank, making any coin that escaped this fate a minor miracle. The extraordinary value of the top-tier 1988 D Quarter lies entirely in its state of preservation, not its design. The coin features the standard John Flanagan obverse portrait of George Washington and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, a design that had been in use for over half a century. What separates a numismatic treasure from a common piece is the quality of the strike and the integrity of the surfaces. On a gem specimen, the mint luster is profound and satiny, flowing across the devices and fields without interruption. The details of Washington's hair ribbon and the eagle's wing feathers are sharply defined, exhibiting a crispness that is often lost on weaker strikes. The surfaces must be virtually flawless, devoid of the myriad of tiny nicks and bag marks that plague nearly all other examples. The rarity of the 1988 D Quarter in grades of MS-68 is a story of statistical improbability. With a total mintage of over 596 million coins, it is one of the most common dates by sheer volume. However, this colossal number works in reverse for the condition-conscious collector. The grading populations from PCGS and NGC reveal the stark reality. While millions exist, only a minuscule handful have ever been certified in MS-68. The journey from MS-67 to MS-68 is the most difficult, requiring a coin to be virtually perfect as it left the die. The combination of high-speed minting, aggressive die polishing, and destructive bagging methods created an environment where such survival was nearly impossible. This extreme scarcity at the pinnacle of the condition census is what defines its status and drives its market. The chasm between the face value and the market value for this coin is one of the most dramatic in all of numismatics. A typical 1988 D quarter is worth 25 cents. However, for the elite examples that have been certified MS-68 by a major service, the market tells a completely different story. These coins regularly command prices between $3,500 and $4,800 in major auction houses. The price is highly sensitive to the subtle nuances of the grade. A coin that is a solid, well within the grade MS-68 will sit at the higher end of this spectrum, especially if it possesses exceptional eye appeal with brilliant, white surfaces and a full strike. This value is sustained almost exclusively by the competitive world of registry set collecting, where a single point on the grading scale can be worth thousands of dollars. For any collector pursuing this condition rarity, absolute reliance on professional certification is essential. The difference between a high-end MS-67 and a low-end MS-68 can be imperceptible to all but the most expert eyes, yet the financial difference is immense. It is crucial to purchase only coins graded by PCGS or NGC, as their population reports provide the only reliable framework for assessing scarcity. When considering a purchase, one should examine the coin for exceptional surface preservation, a sharp strike on Washington's ponytail and the eagle's breast, and vibrant, original luster. Acquiring such a piece almost always requires participation in national auctions or working with specialized dealers who have access to the top end of the market. In conclusion, the 1988 D Washington quarter is a quintessential sleeper rarity, a coin whose true significance is revealed only through the lens of modern grading standards and condition-based collecting. It serves as a powerful testament to the principle that rarity is not merely about how many were made, but about how few survived in a state of perfection. It appeals to the connoisseur who finds beauty in the chase and the triumph of securing a piece that defies its own common origins. As a cornerstone of a top-rated Washington quarter set, its value and desirability are firmly entrenched, representing both a significant numismatic achievement and a compelling store of value derived from unparalleled scarcity in mint state.